Let's talk about exhibits, assertions, proof, and trust. Because sooner or later, it's not all emotions. Our emotions need to be hooked up to something that we can point to and say, that is true. Now, I think it's clear. You can't say, this little bar graph shows us everything that we need to know. That little bar graph is just one version of how we can present the data. This list of customers or that summary of a spreadsheet is nothing but a summary. So my argument is that we use exhibits, that we stand in front of people and we say, look at this curve up and to the right. It doesn't need a lot of labels. It doesn't need a lot of detail. It needs to go way up and way to the right. And then we say, and in the pack of exhibits I'll be giving everyone after the presentation is over, you can see the 15 pages of peer-reviewed data that led to me being able to put this graph on the screen. That what we get to do in our PowerPoint is our greatest hits, using that hit literally, boom, boom, boom. And what we get to do with our exhibits is satisfy the skeptic. We get to say, here are the highlights from last year's financials. And of course, there's a 10-page spreadsheet in the packet I'll be leaving behind. This combination of I'm pointing to the essence of my assertion. And if you don't trust me enough to embrace it, that's fine. You don't have to call me out. I'm giving it to you when we're done with the presentation. Now, it's really important for me to put an aside here that says, don't hand out your slides before you start. Because once you do that, all the rhythm's gone. Once you do that, all the tension's gone. People will look ahead like it's a memo. That what we do is we save our PowerPoint for our performance. And we use our exhibits and our leave behind and our memos as proof. But they're two separate things. They dance together and they work together. But they're two different things. So, once we adopt this mindset, we can now break it down bit by bit by bit and realize that, like a screenplay, a PowerPoint unfolds. So for every single slide, my questions to you are, what does this remind you of? And what is it for? This slide, what's it for? What's the point you're trying to make? If you were going to give the point away in 10 words on the screen, what would the point be? Now, you can write down those 10 words and then take them off the screen and put something emotional in its stead. An image, a video, a sound, a single word. Because what we know is that showing works better than telling every time. What we know is that opening the door a crack and letting people poke their nose in gets us way more attention, way more focus than if we lay it all out. So our job in the performance is to know that every one of those slides has a purpose. Maybe its purpose is to set up the slide that comes after. Maybe its purpose is to reference a slide that came 10 before to bring it all together. But what's it for? I can't tell you how many decks I've seen from well-meaning entrepreneurs who have just laid it all out as if that's what it's supposed to be. They're just copying what came before. But what is that slide for? If you were designing a house, I could say, what's that beam for? What's that window for? Why is the oven in the bathroom? They belong somewhere. There's an architecture to it. So what we must do when we are trying to make an argument via our assertions is realize that that argument will unfold page by page. We earn trust. We give authority. We make an assertion. We back up our assertion. We make an offer. We make an ask. We make a promise. We say back what we've heard. We bring the outside world in. But we do each of these steps on purpose. So when you look at really bad PowerPoint slides, what you're seeing is deniability. What you're seeing are slides that don't remind you of anything. What you're seeing are slides that remind you of someone who doesn't care. And most of all, what you're seeing is that piece of a presentation where its creator forgot that he was putting on a performance, forgot that she was being an architect of an argument, of a shift, of a change. That is our opportunity to build each slide as if it is our best chance to advance our point one little bit at a time, because it is.